Good morning, dear colleagues. Today, I would like to discuss with you a topic of great importance as far as we people are concerned. Before the commencement of the program, I would like to request you two things. Please keep a note of your doubts and queries, and I will come to the answers towards the end of the session. But please don't forget to answer my question during the session. Dear friends, life is thrilling, life is beautiful, life is really enjoy. Some people say like that, but there are people who believe that life is really pitiful and life is really boring and not interesting. What makes the difference? People are always trying to find an answer to these questions, but so far nobody could so far come out with the real answers to these questions. That means really convincing answers. We never got convincing answers to these questions. Everybody hold different perception of life. My perception of life is like this. Each and every moment, we are facing so many situations. I would like to visualize these situations in the form of steps. All these steps are leading us to the final goal, for sure. And each of these steps are the situations that we come across in our day-to-day life. Sometimes these situations will bring desirable outcomes, but sometimes it may not. When it brings out desirable outcomes, definitely it will be added to the bundle of satisfaction, which we are carrying in our journey of life. But when these situations are not bringing favorable result to us or favorable outcomes to us, it will definitely add up to the bundle of regret that we are carrying on the other shoulder. When a person is really successful, the bundle of satisfaction will be higher, and he will not mind or he will not feel the distance that he has to reach the final goal. But at the same time, the person who is carrying that bundle of regret will always lamenting and he is struggling to find a way up. Similarly, I would like to portray the journey of life as the voyage through sea. When the ship is in the sea, we can see small ripples of water always coming to ease. And the ship constantly breaks the ripples to reach its final destination. Dear friends, but the sea is not always the same. Sometimes there will be mighty storms, and as a result, there will be giant waves. But the ship has to cross the giant waves in best way to reach its desired destination safely. The captain will be left out with several options then. He has to make a good choice. He has to make a good decision from the various options available to us at that moment. That decision is very crucial. Otherwise, the ship will not be able to reach the final goal safely. Dear friends, in our life also, we have to be very careful while we are considering these options. I would like to reveal to you the story of two friends. They are very close to me. Both of them are at the age of 75 now. They are living very close to my house. They started their friendship from the very first day in their school. They studied together till they reached their 10th standard. And even after that, they went to the same college to continue their study in pre-degree. And after the completion of pre-degree, both of them got admission in Government Engineering College Trivandrum. At that time, there was no entrance exam. They got admission on pure merit basis. And after the completion of that professional graduation, for the first time ever, they decided to think in different way. Let me call them as Anil and Sunil, because I don't want to reveal their names. Anil decided to go abroad. One of his friends helped him to get a visa to go to Bahrain. He joined one company there. Year after year, the performance appraisal was done, and the company realized that this man is really useful to them, and he was given additional increments, and at the same time promotions were also given. And within 7 years, he became a department head in the company. Trust me, dear friends, when he reached the 15 years of service in that company, he became one of the directors of that company. He didn't stop there. He continued in the same company to 23 to 24 years. But by that time, he began to feel bored. He thought of two things. At first, he thought of shifting his employment to another company, to join another company. And then he thought of his connections, because he is there in that particular place for the last 24 years. So many contacts. He decided to make use of that contacts to start a new company. Sure, it requires so much money. The long service there, he earned a lot. He had sufficient money to start a new company, and he started investing almost everything that he got from there. Then he realized that it is not so easy to have the personal time. He realized that he is not getting enough time to be with his children, three children and his wife. So he decided to send them back to Kerala. And he stayed in an apartment all alone. And one day, one of his neighbors found him not well. Suddenly, he compelled him and take him to the hospital, but it was too late. He had a severe stroke, and one side got totally paralyzed. And he realized that he is not in a position to stay there. So he decided at last to come back to Kerala. He lost almost every investment there. And on reaching Kerala, he was really shocked to see that he even forgot to build a house for him. Totally bankrupt, nothing, not even to pay the rent of a house. So he decided to sell his family property, and he built a very small house in the last premises available to him. And even now, he is totally bedridden, and none of his children are not decently placed. All are educated, but not well placed, not getting sufficient salary to go on with their life. But at the same time, Sunil decided to start a company in the beginning after the completion of the graduation program. Here in Kerala itself, to join a partnership with one of his friends. He took some cash from his father and they started it well, but it didn't work well. Day after day, they realized that debt is simply getting bigger and bigger, and they found it very difficult to run the company in a smooth way. After nearly 1.5 years, they decided to stop the factory and then the debt was so huge that they decided to sell even the property also. They could pay off the debt, but he came back to my hometown without even a single penny in his hand. After a few months, he found an ad in the newspaper. It was given by a multinational company having best-selling products here in Kerala and even outside Kerala. And he took the dealership of that company and started supplying materials to the shops. But he couldn't concentrate well in that business too. His passion was something else. What happened is, after a span of 1 year, he was forced to close that company also. And he didn't get much of the money he has to get from the clients. He lost everything, peoples. Lost everything. He came back to my hometown. No other options left. 3 children and his wife. He has to look after his parents also. He had no other option. So he decided to get a salaried job. And at that time, it was not available. So he decided to join a technical training center as an ordinary tutor. He worked in that company worked in that training center for nearly 13, 14 years. But this dream was still there in his mind. The fire, the spark is still there. One day he decided to think of it again. He made up his mind to take a loan from the land mortgage bank. He took the loan, submitting all the documents of his property, even that of his home, there in the bank to take the loan from there. With that money, he started the business. It was a new one in our hometown, and it was somewhat successful. After a span of 2 years, it began to run quite smoothly. But quite unexpectedly at that time, he had a severe heart attack. And the doctors advised that he has to undergo a bypass surgery within no time. At that time, bypass surgery was available in Sri Chitra Hospital, Trivandrum alone. The people were waiting in queue. And so he moved to Vijay Hospital, Chennai, to get his bypass surgery done. He came back after 4 months. By this time, the company he started or the industry he started was in a standstill state. But he was sure that without that business, he cannot survive because every documents are there in the bank. It is not easy for him to survive without that. Only one option. He has to go ahead. He decided, the children were small at that time, he decided to do whatever he can, disregarding his health. He left his home, totally disregarding his health. He moved or traveled in and around the state, finding newer means of getting his industry more and more equipped. And what happened is his hard toil brought wonderful result to him. Within a span of 5 years, cash began to flow to him. And very soon, he accumulated so much wealth because the investment was very less and the outcome was very high. It was wonderful business and he could earn a lot and he became a multimillionaire. And he could send his children abroad for their studies, and 2 of them are well placed abroad. And one of them is staying with him to look after the house, look after the business. And he's spending a very satisfactory life. Dear friends, on hearing these stories, we can see the twist happened in the life of Anil and Sunil. What is the real reason, or what made the real difference? Yes, that is right, civil teacher, decision. But I still feel that something comes before that decision. Something comes before that decision. Even before making that decision, there are certain things happen, or there are certain things even before we are taking that decision. What is it? And that is my real question. Yeah, options. We have all getting enough choices or enough options. But in making these choices happen, we are selecting some of them and we are eliminating some of them. Really, this is the real lesson that we have to learn. Dear friends, I would like to go with the opinion of John Russell. He simply stated that John Maxwell simply stated that the choices that we make makes you. The choices that you make makes you. Dear friends, we are all actually an accumulation of all the choices that we are making in our life. Every moment, as I told you in the first image, every situation demands an action from us. There may be certain other options, but we are making or selecting a particular option. We are making a particular choice out of it. And that particular choice, every situation, we are responding to a particular choice, or we are making a particular choice, and these choices together accumulated together to form us. And I feel that this image is well enough to reveal the importance of choice in our life. Dear friends, it is our right to be successful. And it's a journey of life. So I would like to perceive it as a mission. If we want to go ahead in this mission, we have to make right choices. And here I would like to suggest to you certain points that would help you make right choices in your life. And I would like to use the acronym YES, because it's very simple to remember, because we are getting exposed to situations every moment. And whenever these situations are coming to us, we have to remember these YES. That is why I'm using very simple acronym. Suppose you are going to make a sambar for the breakfast. If we are not a good cook, if we are not an expert in preparing sambar, what will we do? Exact. We will definitely go with a recipe. We will go through the recipe and we'll find out what are the ingredients required and the time and when it should be added. We will go through it. Dear friends, even in preparing a tasty sambar, we are having a clear idea of what we are going to do next, or what we have to do to make a good sambar. But in the journey of life, sure, very few people are keeping in mind where they want to reach. My humble request to each and every one of you, if you want to be really successful in your life, if you want to achieve your real goal, you have to have a clear idea of where you want to reach. That means you must have a clear idea about your end in mind. There are certain people, including some of us also, we are all good planners, but not good finishers. Every night we go to bed with wonderful plans, but we keep them under the pillow in the morning and start as usual. It happens every day. But if we are in the journey of life, if we are doing like this, can you ever say that person will ever reach his destination in time. Never ever. If we want to reach the final destination or our real desired aim, each of the choices that we make or our response to each of the situations in our life must be added up to the final goal. That each of the choice that we make in our life must contribute towards the success of our life goal or to help us reach that life goal. At the same time, most of the people, trust me, most of the people are in the blame frame all the time. When everything goes well, everything is fine. They will take the responsibility of their success. They won't give it to somebody else. But when instead of success, something bad happens, or if he fails, what happens? He will definitely give the responsibility to others. That means he will blame or start to blame others for the failure. Dear friends, it should never happen in the case of the choices. It should never happen, because if the choices are to be made as inspiration for us to proceed to the life goal in the right time, right fashion, we have to take the responsibility of that. We have to take the responsibility of that. We must show the courage to take the responsibility of every responses that we are making in every situation, no doubt. It's very crucial and really needed. Sometimes there may be a lot of choices. Sometimes that situation exposes before us a lot of choices, but it will be very difficult for any person to find a suitable way out. My suggestion that when so many options are there in front of us, what we have to do? We have to make a selection out of them. The primary concern should be our final goal. That means if these choices are not helping us or not capable enough to take us to the final goal, be courageous enough to eliminate them from your life. Accept or select only those options or choices that are suitable to you to take you to the final goal. Eliminate the rest of them. Never take care of them. Leave them. Shortlist these options available to you, and then it will be easy for you to take advantage of some great advices. We can seek the advice of our seniors, experienced persons, from coaches or mentors also, but at the same time, remember one thing, that the final choice must be ours. We can seek the advice of others, but the final choice must be ours. Dear friends, why I say so is that if the choice is not yours, you will never give 100%. If you want to put your 100% in any of your action, the choice must be yours, no doubt. Without that, it will never happen. In the same fashion, I would like to say one thing again. If we want to proceed in the proper way in your life, whenever there is a situation, you have to take into account these 4 things. For sure, you will succeed in your life. Definitely. Always keep this small acronym with you whenever you come across a particular situation. Always keep an end in your mind and confirm that each and every decisions that you are making in all situations are very adding up to your final goal. And at the same time, take the responsibility of all the choices that you are making, and be worthy enough to shortlist your choices and be courageous enough to eliminate the unwanted images from your life. And this is a very familiar image to teachers like us, because we had seen it in the syllabus of bachelor's degree in education. Legendary psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud made use of this image to describe his theory of subconscious. As we see in this image, 10% of the iceberg is shown before the water level, but a great mass is under the surface of water. In the case, as in the case indicate, or as this image indicate, in the case of mass, similar in the case of power also, the conscious part is more and more weak as in the case of this lower part. Every moment, every situation, we are getting an experience, and that particular experience is getting added to the unconscious part. It is kept in that server. Let the server work behind. Always take care of your emotions. When the emotions work properly, you will get the support of your inner voice. Listen to your inner voice. Pay heed to your inner voice, and always understand your inner voice. And then only you can be fruitfully make right choices that may help you to reach your real goal. Dear friends, I would like to go with the opinion of the famous American Nobel Prize winner, Herbert Simon. He is of the opinion that emotions play a major role in his life. It will create an unfelt emotion in our mind, in our brain, and that unfelt emotion will definitely lead to responsive hormones. And these responsive hormones will definitely elicit certain feelings in our mind, and these feelings will definitely lead to choice. So understand emotions well. Now we have the image of this person, a brooding person. Nobody ever wants to be like this. Everybody wants to be like this. Just to give up the bundle of regret and just accept the bundle of satisfaction and go ahead with that, and go ahead with that. This is the key. Remember years and the power of emotions, and pay heed to your inner voice. It will really lead to your success, and that is the key I have to offer to you. And really successful, and to be really successful, you have to proceed in that way. Thank you, dear friends, for making this evening a really wonderful one.